Getting you set for the nine-man section final, Spring Grove and Mabel Canton at Austin on Friday night. Talking to Lions coach Kody Moore as Spring Grove defeated Wabasha Kellogg in the sectional semifinal. And Kody, what were your takeaways from Saturday?
Well, Darren, I was real pleased with both sides of the ball. Defensively, we held those guys, uh, by my count, or what I saw was less than 20 yards rushing. They picked up some big chunks through the air, but we did a real nice job defending their run game. And then offensively, we put together, I think it was almost 400 yards of total offense. So rushed for 250 and threw for 130 right around there. So I was real pleased with just both sides of the ball. You know, I thought that we started well. We talked a lot about that. It was a grinder there a little bit in that first half, which when you're playing in a section semifinal, that's to be expected. You have, it's the top four teams in the section left, so it's not going to be any kind of cakewalk. And Wabasha had 15 seniors, and so, they battled hard to the end. But overall, I was real pleased with our execution across the board, our energy level, physicality, those type of things. And what I really like is even with that close score at halftime, we were able to kind of turn it up there in the third quarter. And so I think our guys, kind of listened to the halftime message, played with pride there in the third quarter, and came out on fire. And so that was really good to see.
And you mentioned at halftime, it was an 11-8 ball game. And granted, in the postseason, it's whether or not you get it done, and less perhaps about the why and the how. But what was that message at halftime?
Well, I should mention Dash Ransenberger, a senior for us that's hurt right now. He actually went down and talked to those guys, and I think he gave them a good message about getting back to being positive with things. Things weren't going perfect in the first half, and this group, maybe more than any group that I've ever dealt with, they need to kind of feel that positive energy and not get down on each other and those types of things when things aren't going perfect. And I think that was our big message. We're like, hey, we're up three at half. We executed the field goal well there on the second quarter to take that 3-point lead, and we're okay. Don't feel bad about the mistakes. Move on, learn from them, and let's come out on fire in the second half. And so it's all about bouncing back from those difficult times, and we did there in the third quarter. And that's like I said, that's really good to see.
And you mentioned the overall numbers from your defense. The turnover numbers were big, taking the ball away multiple times and scoring after those, including two interceptions from Caden Gerard. How has your defense become a playmaking defense and not just a brick wall defense?
Yeah, I mean, you look at our first few playoff games here and the fact that we've had great field position offensively a lot of times because of our defense and our special teams as well. And so when they're able to do that, force turnovers, that's huge. And the best part about it is then you're playing good complementary football. You're creating those turnovers, and then our offense is capitalizing off of those. And so, again, complementary football is huge. It takes all three phases. And I think that's what we've had here these first couple playoff games. So,
And on the offensive side of the ball, Dylan Halverson has become a lot more of a running threat as the season has gone on from the quarterback position. How has that been allowed to happen?
well, the biggest thing obviously is what those guys are doing up front. Travis Fish, Tyson Moan, Christian Bierke, Devin Williams, Cashton Newgard. Those guys, they're taking pride in their run blocking. They're coming out with the mindset that they're going to knock the opposition off the ball. And so that's where it all starts right there, those guys up front. And then I just think Dylan has gained a lot of confidence. We've talked about just trying to speed up his decision making a little bit, when he sees somebody open, putting on him on time. And then also, nothing's there, take off and run, use your athletic ability. And so that's been great to see. I would add as well, Ricky Reynolds has done a good job blocking in the QB run game. And that's another aspect of it as well. Those guys on the outside, receiver blocking, running back blocking, and all those things I think have contributed to Dylan's success.
And this week, you take on Mabel Canton in the sectional final. Two schools 7 miles apart, traveling 70 miles to play a football game. That's just the way it's going to work. I understand that end of things, but first time around, they got you 26-20. What do you take away from that game that you'll have to do better to turn the result around this time around?
Well, the number one thing is the way you start the football game. And, we dug ourselves an 18-point hole. And I shouldn't necessarily say that we just dug ourselves that hole. There's a reason we were there, right? Mabel executed well. They started the game much better than us. They started with more energy, enthusiasm. We're playing more physical, all those things. So we have to focus on being focused from the start, not waiting to get going. And in a section final game, if you can't get yourself up and ready for that game at the start of the game, then it's not going to work out. That's just the way it is. So I think focusing on executing right away, eliminating mistakes, turnovers, penalties, those types of things, because you know how it is, Darren. They don't make mistakes. They play good, clean football. And so we're going to have to do the same. And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to physicality. It's going to be a little cooler there Friday night. I think I see mid to upper 30s. Those hits and that physical play, that's a whole nother level there when it's that temperature. I think the first time we played them, it was 80 degrees. So we're talking a big difference here. This is football weather now. And so we're real excited for the opportunity.
And how much of a challenge is it facing a team that just doesn't beat themselves?
It is. It's challenging. I just think you need to understand if you do make mistakes against a team like that, you can't let it affect you too much. I think that's part of it as well. But you just have to raise your level of focus. Eliminating mistakes comes down to your preparation throughout the week and then being focused to start the football game. And I think if we're able to do that, we're going to be in there for a good battle on Friday night.
All right, nothing like a close-in rivalry for a section final and a trip to the state tournament on the line. It ought to be a fun one Friday night. Coach, keep your kids healthy. We wish best of luck.
Thanks a lot, Darren. As always, we appreciate your coverage.
Kody Moore, head coach of the Spring Grove Lions. It's the Lions and Mabel Canton for a trip to the state tournament in Austin Friday night.